So, yeah, that's really, really tough when it's a grandparent and you know your time is limited to people who are older just by the nature of life cycle of life. Excuse me, and I wish her and her family peace right now during this time, especially if you're close to someone. It can be very difficult. And what you have to remember is the great times that you had with that person, and try to let go of all the challenging times. Just learn from those and learn how you want to grow from those, and the times that were positive, that's the ones you want to hold on to and remember, so you can hold on to the happiness. So, death can be a very confusing thing for people who are left behind, because you can have unresolved issues, you can have great feelings of loss. It's a very confusing time for those left behind. For the person who's gone, depending on what your spiritual, religious beliefs are, it's either ashes to ashes, dust to dust, or they're on to a heaven, or their personal place of peace and happiness. But no one knows. No one knows absolutely. And it may be that our definitions of heaven are all true in some capacity. That the spirit goes where it wants to go. Or that we become a part of the universe. Or that the deeper lessons of existence that we've experienced so far stay with us in a built-in sense, like a programming sense, but the details of it disappear and we go into another life, if you believe in reincarnation. There's just so many possibilities, or as endless as in death, or even more so, or in the end of this plane of existence, are greater than the plane of existence on which we currently reside. Does that make any sense? Death is a greater possibility. New territory is a greater possibility. The next frontier, or whatever you want to call it. It's exciting in a way, it's intimidating, it's scary, because we have no idea what's next. No matter how many people come forward and say they've talked to Jesus, or people who, you don't hear about that story as much though, where people tell you, when I had a near-death experience, I remember seeing the world from above, or feeling like I was part of the trees, or remembering my past lives, or whatever. You don't hear that as much as you do people saying they had a conversation with God. So maybe God exists, and they've encountered and started to learn the lessons of, or discuss the history of this life. Maybe, in fact, there is a God. Maybe there's a whole universe you explore, your non-contained spirit now explores. Maybe you become a part, you're divided up into millions of pieces, and all of you is a part of the universe. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's nothing. I mean, it's not darkness, because if you're dead, there's no such thing as darkness. It's just death. Or maybe there's darkness. Who knows? It's so vast that I say follow what feels right to you on the inside and makes sense to your brain, and go with that belief system. Because no one truly knows what the next phase of existence is. Either way, though, I wish the family peace. Michelle and her family peace. And hope that there are things you can rejoice from in the time you had with her, your grandmother. And I hope there is the lessons that can be learned from your experiences with her that you can carry on into the next generation of your family. It's not really meant to be a video response, but I know Michelle had talked about in another video about wanting to find someone and the challenges that occur. And I'm assuming she wouldn't be offended by me mentioning this because she talks about it in a video. But it's not just for Michelle, it's for people like me. Potentially people like you. If you're not in a relationship. You have to be happy with yourself first. And be prepared for the fact that you may not meet someone like you that you get along with. And in ways that's sad, and in ways that means you're a very unique spirit to the world. Now, there's a difference between being unique to the world and not finding someone because either you're picky or you're not social enough and not able to communicate with people, or simply because that connection that you long for doesn't solidify with someone. So there's all different reasons why you may not find someone. It doesn't have to be because you're antisocial or because you're picky. It could be that you don't find the connection. Don't blame yourself for that. You should go with what feels right and not push it just so you're not alone. Chances are you will meet someone who you share compatibility with. Keep looking. Keep exploring the possibilities of people out there. Don't close your heart to it. Now, I didn't have much experience with Match.com or Zoosk. Had more experience with OkCupid, although those haven't exactly turned out to anything. But I wasn't in a good place in a lot of ways. You know, and I think I talked about this or I didn't talk about this. And I know I'm over. Where am I at? Oh, damn it, it's going to be a long video. I'll cut it off when I have a chance to upload it. So anyways, when I was starting to date this woman at the beginning of the year, very nice lady, but she has some experiences in the past that have numbed or changed her opinion of marriage. That's pretty much the gist of it, of relationships too. And she was not ready to be in a relationship, even though we were very compatible in many, many ways. And I still think of her as being very compatible. Where I made my mistake was, I'm not worried about what my body was like then, because I knew it was changing. Now, she may not have known that, because she only saw me for where I was at that time. If she saw me now, she might see the differences that I was telling her I was going to be making, and that I was starting to move towards. But fair is fair, she only knew what she saw then, right? So, but I knew where she was coming from. And she said, even though we seemed very interactive, she said she wasn't ready to be in a relationship, even though she kept saying things like, do you know how easy it would be to fall for you? Fall for you. And there's a couple of ways you could interpret it. Maybe there was something going on she didn't want to tell me about what was really going on in her life. She had a boyfriend, she had a fiance, she had a husband that I didn't know about. Can't be held against me if I didn't know what it was. I'm just going to go right now and say she was skittish about getting in a relationship, and that's understandable. So she had an issue in that sense where she should have said, I know I can't be in a relationship and I feel like I could be in a relationship with you and I have feelings for you, and I hate to lose you, but I'm not ready right now. And in a way, I suppose she did say that, but we shouldn't have gotten as close as we did, as fast as we did. And this is where I failed. Knowing what she had said and although her actions were fighting what she said, because she stated and expressed in ways that she had feelings from a romantic nature, what I should have done, my failure, is say, and I damaged the potential between us, either indefinitely or at least then, is I should have said, and what I've learned from it is, you're not in that place yet, and I want something with you because of the feelings it seems like we share, but this isn't the right time for you. So what I'm going to do is step back. I'm going to step away and let you have time to figure out what you want. And I should have done this before we got too close, I should have said this early on and said, I know there's something here, and I believe it could be here in a long-term sense. So instead of damaging that potential, I'm going to step away and let you have your time. Please keep in mind that I do care for you and I do feel a solid connection with you, which I did and I still do in some ways. It's different now, but I haven't seen her nor talked to her in almost half a year or something, I don't know. But it's been a while. And I should have said, go your own way. I wish you the best, and I would like to see you at some point again. Maybe when you figure out what you're wanting, and if it's me or whatever, we can talk again. But I don't want to take a chance on damaging this because of the potential that exists between us. And there was a lot of compatibility. I mean, part of the reason I was attracted to her in a physical sense is because of the emotional connection. Because she wasn't necessarily exactly what I've gone for physically in the past. She was different. That was one of the great things about her, was because my feelings for her were rooted more from an emotional and mental sense than they were purely physical. And my point in all that is that you can't rush it. And you have to use good sense if you don't want to damage the potential for the future. And say, okay, you're not in that place I am, or I'm not in that place you are. Let's not damage what could happen in the future by pushing what's not happening right now. And that's sort of my message to everyone who's looking for something in love. If you're married already, it's a different set of situation. If you're having challenges in your marriage, you have to say, what do we have, and what do we stand to lose? It may not be as obvious. That's why you have to think about it and say, where am I at? Where are we at as a couple? And you have to examine and say, I could start all over, or I've been waiting to start for the last 30 years. You have to figure out where you're at. People do grow apart. There's just a time when you have to make a distinction between, have we grown apart because we're pushing each other away, or because we naturally have done it? If you're pushing each other away, then maybe you need to reconsider why. Is it because I'm looking for something more exciting or whatever? You may find it, you may not. You may find someone who doesn't care about a relationship with you, but makes you believe that at the time. You may find someone who does want a relationship with you. But don't start a new relationship before you've truly decided that the other one is no longer working for both of you. Because chances are, if you're having a problem in a relationship, the other person's having a challenge with it too. And you decide together to reconnect or to conclude that chapter of both of your lives in the most amicable way possible. Just be patient and don't rush in or out of anything, because it can damage the future potential for you psychologically for you and other people. So, all right, now I'm done. Take great care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, or night rather. Whenever you see this video, have a great evening, have a great next day, whatever. And I will see you soon, meaning tomorrow. Live with passion. Many blessings.